Hi there, I'm Krystyne Cheever, and welcome to the All Friends Cabaret, a variety show that connects you with your community. And as always, we want you to be a part of it. Do you sing? Do you dance? Do you act? Do you have that special organization you're raising funds for? Well, at the end of every program, I invite you to get in touch with me to become a part of the All Friends Cabaret. Now, what's this I hear? Ooh! We're exploring the world of ragtime tonight, and the best people to do that are Paul and Barbara Carroll.
That was, of course, Scott Joplin's The Entertainer from 1903. It was made famous all over again 70 years later when it was one of the featured numbers in the movie The Sting. The history of ragtime is mirrored by the life and progress of Scott Joplin, whose popular and prolific ragtime compositions earned him the title of the King of Ragtime by his peers. Now, the birth of ragtime is commonly set by the date of the first published rag in 1895 called You've Been a Good Old Wagon, But You Done Broke Down by composer Ben Harney, who a year later brought a ragtime popularity to New York City. It was not until 1897, however, that an actual Negro instrumental ragtime composition made its way to the publisher's presses. That was African-American composer Tom Turpin's famous Harlem Rag, composed in 1892, a year before ragtime was actually introduced for the first time at the 1893 World's Fair. However, Paul will now play one of the most popularly played rags of the early 20th century, which is Tom Turpin's The St. Louis Rag. Wait a minute, Paul. Wait a minute. Stop the music. That's not the St. Louis Rag.
Oh, I thought
That's
you said blues.
no. That's we want to hear the St. Louis Rag by and the.
Oh, I know that one.
Okay, let's play it. The St. Louis Rag,
Rag, not
not the blues by W.C. Handy.
good. Now I'm going to interrupt this show, but not really, because you both, this show goes on. You're just giving us a nice taste. Paul, put your mic over so we can hear that, the lovely speaking voice of yours. But this is Barbara and Paul Carroll, and this is a portion of your show that you've performed before. Who's the writer? Whose idea was this, that you two would perform this together? Because we have a mother-son duo here.
Funny you should ask.
Okay.
By the way, nice to see you. I don't know if I
Yes.
can stand here and get out of camera. Or
No, that's
I
fine.
feel,
Well,
you know what?
Go ahead.
well,
go
I
ahead.
could
So
tell
me
the story how
how this came about.
Yes,
How,
it all came about over a year ago when a couple of wonderful friends of my husband's who were in the music collecting business came to visit us, and Paul happened to be home at the time. And
Who can
we
play
asked,
a few tunes, I can tell, right?
Well, we asked these wonderful gentlemen, what would you like Paul to play?
Mm-hmm.
And so he began playing some ragtime songs, and I saw the gentlemen were talking together, and they said after Paul had played, gee, we'd like to get up a program about the history and music of the ragtime era, and we will feature Paul playing the ragtime compositions.
Oh, that's great.
We'll have slides, and we'll have a little demonstration, and we'll have a sing-along.
Great.
And so that's how the program really began.
Did they write it? Did the
Yes, actually,
so,
one of the gentlemen had written the original program.
Okay.
And,
then how
then
did
I,
you
well,
jumped in?
actually, what had happened about a month ago, thank you for asking,
Yes.
because about a month before the show, and sadly my husband had passed away by then, he knew the program was going to begin, but he
have
hadn't
been
seen the whole
thrilled,
thing,
yeah.
yes. And so anyway, the gentleman who wrote the program said, gee, I don't want to be the narrator. You have a good speaking voice. And
Which
I
she
said,
does.
what,
I
who,
wanted to be
me?
the narrator.
And I said, who, me? And he said, why don't you be the narrator? And I thought, you know, I'm almost 70 years old, and I had
Oh,
wanted to
wow.
be a performer when I was a young woman.
Oh, that's wonderful.
So I said, okay, I'll do it.
That's great. And I like, you guys have you can tell you have a nice energy between you two. You play off each other well. And you have a great playing. Is your focus ragtime? How did you get involved with just playing ragtime, and then it's turned into a show?
Funny you
But
should
how did-
ask. I'll give you the generic answer.
Yeah.
That that I tell everyone. I started playing when I was 5. Of course, I didn't decide on my own to start playing at 5. I'd rather be out, doing what boys do. And
Yeah.
my mother got me piano lessons way back in 1973, and I was still hadn't been in first grade yet. It was still in summer of kindergarten, and music instruments around the house all the time. My mother played guitar. My mother played guitar and sang, and my father played the piano.
So it got you involved in.
Exactly, a little white spinet piano.
Yeah.
That back when my dad was a beatnik, they traveled the country back in the old days, Route 66 and all that.
Right. He did. Yep.
All that stuff. Anyone out there, any beatniks or anything? And great stuff of the time. And you could do that in those days. And they dragged the piano around in the back of the truck. I know because I've seen the pictures. 68 keys, and we just played already. And then my mother made, they had me take piano lessons.
So you are enjoying this performance. How is it to perform with your mother?
Yeah.
Be careful.
Oh, well, it's unbelievable. But of
Watch what
course,
you say.
I love it.
No, it's great.
By the time I was in 6th grade,
Yeah.
I was pretty good, and different piano, teachers, and sometimes you need different teachers. And one girl came to the house, and in 6th grade, my dad was home at night, and he's the one that had me practice, and the music for the entertainer, coincidentally enough, and I have the actual copy. This is inspiring to me. This is the actual copy that I crumpled up in a fit of rage because I didn't. And you can see the real authentic here. I didn't want to laminate it because it would take away from the historical value. And that's it. And then as I play now, I was playing at a well-known restaurant right down the street here, but we won't talk about that. And I always kept the 3 Scott Joplin songs, the Maple Leaf Rag, the Entertainer, as kind of like my an extra secret weapon. Because usually people don't play that.
Right.
And so
And now you have an actual gig that you go out and it's
Yeah,
historical.
it's so much fun.
What do you like most about the history of ragtime?
Well, I think it's just wonderful, happy music. It makes the people happy, and
Yeah.
that is one of the reasons that
That
I
you-
had hoped that Paul and my other son would
Yeah.
continue the tradition of us in
music.
music. But
So-
it's sort of a forget your troubles.
Yeah, no,
Be happy.
exactly. So, Paul, I want to have you play another song for us, and it's a popular song that most people know, probably everyone knows. The Alexander Ragtime Band. Can you tell us a little history
Well,
on that?
Never heard of it.
Well, actually, I guess I've heard it all my life. My
Right.
mother was a great piano player, and that was part of her repertoire was Alexander's Ragtime Band, and by Irving Berlin. And the story is, right now, that was written in 1911. So I was told that this is the 100th anniversary
Well,
of this
you'll do
ragtime
it
classic.
justice, I'm sure.
I shall. Another little tidbit about ragtime is it became like so one-dimensional. All of the songs, they eventually kind of blend together. I even get confused, believe it or not. I ended up drifting into other songs, and I realized that, oh, geez, I
What
started
is
this
it
song.
about the music that makes it that way?
It's stride bass in the left hand, theoretically speaking.
Mm-hmm.
Most of the songs are in the key of A flat. You hit your root, but it's that type of a signature riff and structure. And hard stuff to play. The reason it's in A flat, just when you talk about it, it's your fingers, the way your fingers land. Your thumb's a little shorter, and that's the style it's in.
Oh,
And
wow.
so it's
A
great
good
stuff.
lesson, a good
I
lesson.
love it.
And
So-
let's hear.
No
Here,
charge?
Alex.
Thank you. Let's hear Alexander Ragtime Band.
I don't know
It's
if we-
Alexander's. I'm sorry.
Alexander's Ragtime
Right.
Band.
And,
Hit it
Come
hard.
on
and I'll
here.
say to people, I'll say, well, what key do you want me to play it in? And people will say, oh, I don't care. Use as many as you want. So